But sad as it is, and even as most Kenyans can feel, for the family and friends of this young, beautiful girl with a whole future ahead of her, the question on minds of many, on the minds of most Kenyans, is why? What happened? What would have caused such a brutal crime? Even Hezron, who normally frowns upon this kind of stories, he normally says, Chris, hizi stories zako za mapenzi, what value do they add? But even Hezron, this time round, was urging me on. Chris, mi nafikiri mashetani yameingia kwa hii dunia. Mbona watu wanaoana namna hii? Fanya video. Fanya ile investigation yako. Hii mi naona ni mashetani. Translation? Chris, please investigate this with urgency. This looks like a demonic attack on the whole world. The pressure was obviously too much. So I portioned a little time away from the very dramatic events unfolding in our local politics. I apportioned a bit of time, to look deeper, very deep, into this saga. And even I was taken aback, by some of the conclusions I came to. And I will share all of them in this very intensive report immediately after the brief upcoming commercial break. To some, what I do may look very easy, and very cheap, but actually it isn't. And these commercials help. They don't completely finance it. They help to finance it. So let's just take a brief break. I'll be back in a bit. Welcome back. Now, the problem in this case of Ivy Wangeshi is that so much information, misinformation actually, has been spread on social media. It becomes very difficult to dissect, divide the truth from pure fabrication. Virtually everybody online is looking for views, is looking for likes, is looking for attention. And then it seems that we have underestimated the number of jilted men out there. And very many of these men have come out with more feelings. They have responded emotionally, adding to the confusion. And of course, greatly distressing, those who are close to the late Ivy Wangeshi. So for this video, we will stick to the facts. And the facts are what I've been able to verify. Now, 25-year-old Ivy Wangeshi and 28-year-old Naftali Kinuthia, that's the person who attacked and killed her, were in the same primary school. The name of that primary school is Bishop Njuguna Academy in Thika. Fact number 2. After primary school, the two seem to have lost touch, lost contact completely. But that contact was very recently re-established. Now, according to those who are close to Ivy Wangeshi, her friends, it was re-established last year on the social media platform called Facebook. Fact number 3, the two have met on several occasions. And the most recent meeting was in Thika. The most recent meeting to be verified was in Thika 2 weeks ago. Now, Naftali Kinuthia does not seem to have a criminal record. He's definitely not an ex-convict. He has no violent tendencies. The 28-year-old is a system administrator for a city betting farm. The offices are along Mombasa Road. Those who know him describe him as a cool guy. Not the kind of guy you would ever think in 100 years would be associated to such a brutal crime. We also know that shortly before the very unfortunate incident in Eldoret, where Ivy Wangeshi lost her life, Bwana Kinuthia had been trying to get in touch with her, but she was not picking his calls. Now, piecing everything together, this is what you'd call a crime of passion. What is a crime of passion? Simply put, this is a crime that emerges from a love relationship, usually sexual. in nature. Now, this is the most misunderstood crime. And it has always been. Yeah? Because, for instance, in this case of Ivy Wangeshi, people are asking themselves, how can somebody who is sane, has not been bewitched, does not have any mental problems, get into a car and drive 300 kilometers from Nairobi to Eldoret, with only one intention on his mind? And then he actually fulfills that intention. Because 300 kilometers when you're driving, you can do a lot of thinking. You can change your mind. Reason can prevail. So what happened to this man so that throughout those 300 kilometers, reason never prevailed? He did not at any time come back to his senses, and realize that what he was doing, or what he intended to do was just, I don't know how to describe it. Now, the reason why people don't understand crimes of passion, most people don't, is because they don't understand a certain human emotion, which is inside all of us. All of us are vulnerable to it. It can happen to any of us. People don't understand how that particular emotion works and how tragic and devastating that emotion can be. Or rather, the consequences of having that emotion inside you. What emotion am I talking about? I'm talking about an emotion called jealousy. Now, I believe I've said this before on this channel. A vast majority of murders since the beginning of time, can be attributed, can be linked to this emotion called jealousy, including the very first recorded murder, when Cain murdered his brother Abel. It was out of jealousy. And let me not pretend to be better than you, who does not understand this emotion, because for years I never understood, I never came anywhere near understanding this emotion. My late political lecturer was born in an era when beating up your wife was normal. However, in all his years, all 74 years of his life, I never saw him lift his hand once, against a woman. And this is despite being greatly provoked. In fact, in one instance, a woman walked into the room and picked up a tray full of tea and cups and saucers, etc., and hit it very hard on his head. Most from his generation would have reacted violently. He didn't. But one day, when I was about 6 years old, he reacted so violently that not only did it shock me to my bones, it traumatized me for years. And only very recently, about 5 years ago, the mystery was solved for me. I realized it was linked to an emotion called jealousy. My strong advice, if somebody is doing so well, doing better than you, and you believe that you should actually be on par with them, you don't see why they should be doing so well. You don't see why they appear to be better than you, and you start getting feelings of jealousy, my strong advice is fear that jealousy. Really fear it. If you're a woman, and maybe you're a wife or a girlfriend, and your man is playing you, he is being unfaithful, and these feelings of jealousy quite naturally start building up inside you, let the red lights in your life start flashing like crazy. Fear that emotion. Greatly fear jealousy. Otherwise, one day, you may end up in a situation whereby you do something which you yourself cannot understand later. If you're a man and your wife or your girlfriend is playing you, just run. Put down everything and run. Run away from that situation. Get away from that situation. If you're a wife or a husband, don't worry if you have given birth to 100 children or 1,000 children. Just get out. It is much better for your children to be brought up by two parents who are separated, who maybe even live 1,000 miles apart from each other, than for your children to become orphans. Orphans in the sense that one of you will be dead and the other one will be in jail forever. Or both of you could be very dead. Folks, I cannot emphasize this enough. Fear, the emotion called jealousy. And by the way, it doesn't start in the extreme. It starts with just a little jealousy here, a little jealousy there, and then it quickly builds up. And before you know it, bad things have happened. In the very sad and unfortunate case of Ivy Wangeshi, it has crime of passion written all over it. And as I've explained, crime of passion is always linked to a deadly human emotion called jealousy. Sample this. For Bwana Kinuthia, an axe was not enough. He also had a knife. So after he had finished his work with an axe, on a fellow human being, he used the knife. That animal behavior can only be linked to a crime of passion. Now, in my view, nobody, and I mean nobody, has a right to spoil the name of a young girl, even if she's deceased. Some of us on this channel were young girls once, and we understand. Some of us understand young girls. We have had to study them after some very strange encounters. We have had to solve the mystery. Because some of us don't like mysteries in our life. And what I can tell you is that when a girl is young, there are very many things which happen to them. They're trying to find themselves. Many of them cannot handle the power they suddenly realize that they have. The power to make a man go very weak on the knees. The power to reduce a very strong man into a meek sheep that they can play around with their little finger. Many young girls, on discovering this power, are not able to handle it. And I believe it's all part of growing up. Most lessons in this life cannot be learned from books. We can read books, we can listen to other people's experiences, but most lessons in this life are learned the hard way, through experiences, bad experiences, which leave consequences. That is the nature of life. And only God can protect our daughters. Because there's something very lethal. Women, and especially young girls, have. It's called emotion, which leads them to do very many bizarre things, if I can just put it like that. And many of these bizarre things are harmful to themselves. And you can never change the way women are wired. They are wired to be emotional beings, very emotional. And they'll react and do things emotionally. And so this holier-than-thou attitude I've seen all over the place. With people saying, campus girls this, campus girls that, girls at university do this and that, they deserve it. That one won't fly with me. Never. And so, if some girl in some university jilted you once, live with it. And move on. And remember, many of us, most of us, even me, have been jilted. And I know how it hurts. Be a real man. Move on. Avoid my feelings on social media. Avoid those funny comments. They won't bring back the girl who jilted you. They won't. So stop it. Even if it makes you feel better. Now, my apologies for ranting. I get very offended by some of these things. Anyway, the kind of public interest that the Ivy Wangeshi case has attracted will definitely cause many more facts to come to light in the days and weeks to come. But you can be sure of one thing. It will all point to a crime of passion. Now, there's something else which is very important to understand. We live in the age of social media. And social media has revolutionized relationships. For instance, in the old days, how long would it take you to meet somebody and start getting romantically involved with them? Ages, months, maybe even years. You meet on weekends or in your spare time, and where you meet, it's not conducive to getting to know each other. Now with social media, all that has changed very dramatically. You can meet in the morning and get married tomorrow morning. I kid you not. Through chat, and I believe chat is the deadliest, is the deadliest tool, that was ever invented. Through chat, you can open yourself up, talk about very intimate things, to a stranger. Get to know a stranger very well in a matter of hours, where it would have taken 20 years, before social media came along. And so because of this, and because of movies and the media, who are very strongly promoting, a new kind of love, mostly hinged on sex, the result is there are so many more relationships happening out there, and because there are so many relationships happening out there, the chances of this monster called jealousy coming in and wreaking havoc have increased dramatically. Bear in mind, and don't forget, that in the case of Ivy Wangeshi and Naftali Kinuthia, they were reunited on Facebook. Let me just leave it there, because I don't want to speculate. The sum total of all this is that we're getting so many cases of women being murdered brutally, being killed brutally by men. And most people wondering why. Well, there's the explanation for you. And something else, I said at the beginning, a crime of passion, almost always involves sex. I've said this before on this channel. Sex is a very dangerous thing. Sex causes people, to start going a little mad. And if there was no other reason, that reason alone is good enough, to be very strict about what people say is outdated. Don't have sex with somebody who's not your wife or your husband. Don't. The consequences could be fatal. But of course I know I am playing a guitar to goats. Nobody will hear what I have to say. Nobody will listen. Anyway, now for us to really understand what a crime of passion is all about, let's go into a few practical examples, of cases that have happened recently that can directly be linked to crimes of passion, and that deadly emotion of jealousy. And some of these cases are even worse than the very unfortunate Ivy Wangeshi case. Oh yes, I'm telling you the truth. What you're about to hear,